I have some very special guests in the studio, and I think it's information you're going to want. With me this morning, I have with me Ryan from Watson C&D and his compost expert, Darren. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So, first of all, now, for those that don't really understand, what is compost? I'm going to put this to who? The expert, maybe?
Yeah, we'll go with Darren.
Darren, what's compost?
Well, compost is organic material, typically from gardens and parks, leaves, twigs, branches, etc., which we grind. Mm-hmm. We also bring in food waste from supermarkets, spoiled produce, etc., and these materials are blended together and placed into what we call windrows, which are long piles. And then we have a controlled protocol and environment where we meet high temperatures in those piles, and we decompose the material into a soil-like soil, a soily, earthy smelling, good, rich material that's great for the soil.
Good deal. Now, how did you all get started in composting at Watson C&D? How do you get started?
Well, we started getting the curbside yard waste off the community here in Alachua County, mm-hmm. and we started getting it in about 2 years ago, and we've noticed that it started decomposing and making a compost, so we decided to speed that process up by grinding it, and so now we're making a compost off the community. As Darren said, it's coming off the curbside, leaves, twigs, stuff like that, and now we've got into recycling food waste, which is coming off our local grocery chains and like University of Florida and stuff like that.
Sweet. So it's a recycled product from our community, but how can it benefit our community by using it after being composted?
Well, as of right now, we're putting it down as a substitute for fertilizer, herbicides and pesticides. It's going down on lawns, and what it does is it gets us away from using chemicals mm-hmm. in our community, which is going to save our water and things like that.
Nice. So we need to be using this back on our lawns and our sports fields, correct?
Definitely.
All right. So I got to ask you another question. Will this runoff affect the quality of our aquifers and streams and springs like the chemicals do?
No, the compost is a completely natural product, and during the composting process we are decomposing and mineralizing the nutrients, so they actually end up tied up in the dead bacteria cell walls, which form the humus content of the compost. So when that's applied out in the field or in your yard, mm-hmm. Doesn't matter how much rainfall you get, those nutrients are locked up in the organic matter, and it can only become available as and when the plant requires them. So it's not like a chemical fertilizer, which is kind of force feeding the plant. And of course, if we get 2 inches of rain after you've applied chemical fertilizer, probably 80% of that ends up washing down through the sandy soil and away to the water. So the compost is a much better and a much safer product.
It's an organic fertilizer, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, indeed.
Very nice, very nice. How often do you put this out? I mean, do you do it like once a month, once a week, once a day?
It depends. I mean, obviously during the growing season, the grass doesn't grow too much during the winter time, so you typically about 2-3 times a year broadcast application on the surface.
That's not too bad. So, do you apply it yourself?
Yeah, right now here at Watson, we're applying it on some lawns and doing some trials, and we've had great success with it, and we're looking to start our own spreading business. So
nice.
Yeah,
I saw some of the pictures. Remarkable. The changes that were made.
Yeah, it works for 90 days. You'll see your best results in 90 days, but you'll start seeing results within 2 weeks. So,
how long does it take from start to finish? Say I got brown yard. How long is it going to take me to get it all started and finished?
Oh, you typically see results within a few days after putting compost down. You'll start to see a green up of your lawn, or it's good for all plants. It's not just for turf grass. You can use it in your flower beds. You can use it wherever. It's good for any type of plants. So you can blend it in with other materials to make potting soils also.
Nice.
So it's
compost has been around for a long time, but why is it not widely used like it should be?
I think it's been a lack of legislation, and source separation of organics is it does cost more than just throwing everything in the same trash can. So, but the Florida Department of Environmental Protection has recently introduced the 75% recycling goal for the state of Florida, which is definitely driving this now, and people's perception and willingness to be green and sustainable has really grown, so it's good timing right now.
And with the problems with our aquifers that we've been having here in the state of Florida, this is a great thing to be looking at seriously, not just because it's good for your yard and your garden and your sports fields, because it's good for us as a community. Just like you said, this is good for our environment. So you guys are on top of this. You know what's going on. It's Watson C&D. I got Ryan here from Watson C&D, and also Darren, a compost expert. So I want to get a hold of you guys. What do I do?
Yeah, you can reach me on my email at ryan@watsoncll.com, or you can call me at 352-495-9449, and I would be more than happy to speak with you about how getting you set up and using compost on your yard.
Nice. Do you have a website or a Facebook
we
page?
We do, and our website's www.watsoncll.com.
WatsonCLL.com. There you go, folks. Now you know the right thing to do. Now you know how to fix the problems. Now you know how to live organically and better. Why? Because we thought you might like to know. It's such a great thing to have you guys with me this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. That's Ryan from Watson C&D and his compost expert, Darren, on the Morning Wake Up at 104.9 WOW FM.